Well, it's LexanTV.com, and it's time for me to introduce my very first pilot episode of Life Champion. I had the opportunity to chat with the incredibly talented Oneika Phillips, Broadway singer, dancer, and actor. Oneika has been through a lot, and now to me, she's known as my very own bionic woman. Oneika shares her story of when pain meets passion. Do enjoy. It's Life Champion featuring Broadway dancer, singer, and actor Oneika Phillips.
Here we are at Silver Sands and delighted to be part of Lexan's show. She's got the incredibly talented Rachel Oneika with her. I'm sure you'll enjoy that interview. I am absolutely amazed at the depth of talent. For such a small island and a small population, there are so many incredibly talented people. We're delighted to be working with a lot of artists, singers, dancers that have gone to the States and done well, and delighted that we've been part of this interview. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Welcome. It's all about LexanTV.com, and today I am so excited to have this special, super talented woman with me. She's an old friend. She has lots of Grenadian roots deeply embedded in this beautiful island.
That's right.
And let me tell you, today's interview is the perfect combination of what happens when passion meets opportunity, and you put that together, and then you get Rachel Oneika Phillips. I'm so happy to have her here with me.
I'm thrilled. I'm really thrilled to be here. It really has been years that we've been trying to coordinate an opportunity to speak with each other. So thank you so much for having me.
Definitely.
Yes.
And what a perfect place to be in Grenada and Silver Sands, Grenada. Isn't this
at the top of a brand new year?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
But this is fantastic. Rachel, I mean, I really want you to share your story. I've spotted many interviews online, many features, but I thought today, if you permit me to dig a little deeper and for you to express, you know, just lay it all out, your soul, your passion, your ups, your downs, the mishaps, that sort of thing. But I like to start at the beginning, because the beginning is a crucial foundation. You know what I mean?
It is. Yeah.
So the beginning, I mean, little Rachel growing up, what sparked the interest in dance and performing arts for you?
I say this every time I'm asked this question, like, Daddy loves to see. I was dancing from the time I come out of mommy, right? I was just a very energetic child, and I loved being outside. I loved run. In fact, my parents would encourage me to go outside because I'm running up and down, wrecking havoc in the house, and just very energetic. And I think that mommy and daddy wanted something where that energy could meet discipline, and dance happened to be a perfect segue. And to utilize that, you know, fantastic energy, this electric energy that wanted to take on the world. And so I was born in Guyana, but we came to Grenada when I was very young. And my very first school of dance was the Guyana School of Dance. And that was a fantastic, for what I remember, was a fantastic experience because at the time, they would do these exchange programs with people from Jamaica and Cuba in particular, I remembered, and teachers from Cuba. So that in itself, it wasn't just about the education in dance, but also in the education of culture and culture of the Caribbean and what dance of the Caribbean looked like, and conversations around Caribbean existence, what that looked like. And while at that very young age, I may not have understood that as what it was, I know for a fact it planted a seed of me of great pride in being an ambassador to the region. And when we came to Grenada, it was essential to my parents that we find a continuance to that. And that happened with the Grenada Dance Workshop at the time, run by Jan Woodruff. And that was so, you know, listen.
Oh my gosh.
And the thing about it is, all the women, all the young ladies that were in that company, that dance school, they're still my friends today. So, you know, you're talking about Astra Benjamin, Najwa White, Elizabeth Batiste, Heather Wadali, Natasha Williams,
the redheads,
the Nikki and Tahira redhead, and Janine Fletcher, and that dance was our foundation for a lifelong friendship, and that I think is one of the most important aspects. So now we're talking about two things. Now it's a connection to who I am, a way to take my discipline and have it become a form of ambassadorship, and now it's now layered by deep, honest friendships that I know for a fact. Again, you don't know this in the beginning, but now, as an older woman, I know for a fact this will extend through the end of my life. And that opportunity was created for me through dance.
Yeah.
So I came here, we found the school, we created these fantastic friendships, and Jan was also very good at incorporating a lot of what she had learned in Cuba. Now at the time, again, Grenada and Cuba's relationship extended not just into medicine but also into the arts.
That's right.
And in fact, believe it or not, that's not happening now. You know, and so sometimes it's good to sort of reflect on the history and moments where there were bursts of anywhere from economic to artistic boons to the island. You know, like we would do well to reflect on those moments in terms of a modern context and how it can stimulate the island and interest in the arts, and how the arts can actually contribute to economics.
Definitely.
But that's a whole other
There's a whole other interview, girl.
That's right. That's right. But you know, here it just the painting is sort of like a blank canvas, and the painting just becomes more and more sort of glorious with each tier of my involvement in the arts, right? Now, being from Grenada, there tends to be a cap, right? It used to be the same with sports, and luckily now that has expanded and extended. And I think there's a model there for the arts. And luckily for me, sort of unspoken understanding was I would do it as long as I could, and then I had to find something real to focus on. So I did very well in school. I enjoyed school, again, because those friends were there. And I mean, a part of me, I'm very privileged to say I had damn near an idyllic childhood.
The St. Josephs Convent is now presently 117 years old. The sisters began their work in 1876 with only 50 students under the motto, Labore est orare, to work is to pray. Today, there are over 630 students in St. Joseph's Convent, still receiving one of the best form of education and also the best moral teaching that can be given in this island.
And it's strange this time. People with no color whatsoever, come and be raiding my village. I feel grab one another. Ma, don't touch me. You not taking me. Not from Africa.
Ẹ̀fún omi kan tó já sí àárín ọ̀nà. Ó odò lóhùn lẹ̀gbọ́n ọ̀nà lóhùn lẹ̀gbọ́n a ti rìn a kò rí ẹni sọ fún wa bóyá odò lẹ̀gbọ́n.
In the context of living in the States, when you're having conversations about what the Black American experience is versus a Black West Indian experience, I tell them, I am a child of sandy beaches and coconut trees. So if we're going to understand each other and have a conversation, we need to share what those Black experiences are, so that we understand that they are quite diverse, right? And it can be fascinating to people, the things that we live in and who we are and how we are. That is stuff you pay a lot of money to have access to.
That's right.
So I do reflect on the fact that it was an idyllic childhood, but all through it was this thread of dance and dance performance. And so, I recall that at one point, Mommy wanted to take me out of dance in order to... No. She wanted me to go to a different company, and I just refused because of the friendships and also the quality of performance that was instilled in me, that I did not want to let go of.
You knew what you want.
Yeah,
you knew what you wanted.
I really did. But at the same time, there was a sort of understanding that there would be a cap to it.
Yeah.
We will keep on struggling until we are free. Sing of that freedom. Sing, the whole fellow creature. Flow in sound, voice, and rhythm. Partner, slavery done. Everything can't be blamed on slavery. Now we are Caribbean. So integrate, recreate. Let our music take us the path our race has walked. For we are survival. The drums, voices, reggae, calypso. Dance with me this story of freedom.
The winner, Miss Rachel Phillips!
I did very well in school. I enjoyed school. I had great results in O-levels, A-levels. And then it came the time to really step into becoming a young woman, right? Which is what this experience of going off to university is. And it was then that I started to understand that sometimes something is so meant to be a part of who you are that you can try to move away from it. You hear me? You can try to move away from it, but the forces that are greater than you and bigger than you will pull you back.
Keeps pulling you back.
It will pull you back because your purpose is in that excitement. It lives in that place, right? Right. Okay.
Good.
So even though I had been saying, to Mommy and Daddy, I think I want to be a lawyer, So I never intended on really letting go of dance. I just thought that it would become my hobby, which is the way that it tends to be seen in a Caribbean context anyway. You know, oh, the dancing is a nice hobby. You know, what is your job? And you know, and truth be told, I think that it was so embedded in me that I never thought of it really as a hobby. It was just a part of who I am. Right? My skin is a part of who I am. I breathe. My heart beats, and this aspect of involvement in the arts and being on stage and giving a gift to an audience who then gives a gift back to you, that was just embedded in who I am. And again, this is all conversation from reflection. When you're in it at the time at 16, 17, 18 years old, you don't really understand it as that, and so you can't articulate it that way. But I do a lot of reflection on the opportunities that I have had, and I understand it to be that, right? That it is just so ingrained in who I am, that force is bigger than me. Understand it as a part of my purpose. It is a true passion, and therefore my role, whatever my small impact will be in the however many years I have an opportunity to be on this planet, it's going to be through that expression, through some form of artistic expression.
So you moved to the U.S. You've acquired your degree in performance. Tell me.
There's a little story there. So when I went to Trinidad after A levels for a dance workshop they were having there, and in the midst of it, this woman comes, short, petite white woman, comes up to me, and she's sort of investigating, like, what do I want? Where do I think I want to go? Turns out she's on sabbatical from a small school, university, and conservatory in Virginia.
Wow.
So she's on sabbatical in Trinidad because she's interested in folk movement of the Caribbean, and she's the chair of the dance department at this school. So she tells me, you know, she talks to me about the schools that I have been applying to, and I applied to and was accepted to some really outstanding schools with the intent of doing business management.
Right.
And she said, look, the thing is, I think that there is a fantastic potential there, but if you go to these schools, it's very likely that you won't find a program to accommodate both business and dance, or you'll go for a dance degree and you'll drop out after a while, because you leave the context of an island of 100,000 people and go to a country of millions and millions where a lot of people have a similar dream. It then becomes very, very competitive, right? And anyway, the point is, she managed to help me speak with the registrar there so that I could double major in business management and dance performance. And that was important for me too, not just as a fallback thing. People often say, oh, okay, so that was your fallback. It wasn't. It was that I was interested in both. And here was an opportunity to do both.
Right.
And that was very satisfying to my parents as well, right? And when I went to them, they were taken aback, but in a way they also were like, well, oh gosh, it's like how you weren't going to think about wanting to go to university for dance. But that can be very disconcerting. I was going to say to West Indian parents, but to any parents, right? You don't really want your child to be the starving artist. So this opportunity, not only that, the registrar accepted my A-level results, so that meant that I could do these double majors in a shorter time. I wouldn't have to stay there my whole life. So I went to the university. I worked my behind off because again, a whole other conversation. Being dropped into Virginia at the top of 1996, which was the storm of the century then. So Virginia was experiencing massive amounts of snow, which it never does. I experienced culture shock of the worst kind. The worst kind. If there was a moment to break me, that was it. The school was very small. It had no sort of Caribbean Students Association. It had no, it was just small. Small. Now, an opportunity for focus and attention and ensuring that I got the work done without distraction, sure, but no access to who I am. No access. And it was, for the first 2 years, that aspect of it was debilitating,
Right.
and I turned that energy into attaining the marks
Yeah.
every semester, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that was a rite of passage.
Wow.
I feel like that experience in its own way was a way for me to deal with the very competitive and mentally strenuous nature of doing the job professionally.
Correct.
Yes.
How did you get that break into such a field that is so highly competitive? You mentioned it yourself. We're used to hundreds, thousands of people.
Yes.
But here we're talking millions of people who have their eyes on the prize,
Yes.
who's got the same dream and the same
dream.
passion
That's
as
right.
Rachel Oneika.
That's
So
right.
how did it happen? Where was that moment that you knew something was coming?
So this is about the forces bigger than you. I leave university and I need to do a what do you call it, an internship for my business degree. And
Right.
I got this fantastic opportunity at CNBC all on my own. I found it online, I applied, and they accepted me. So I got this fantastic marketing internship at CNBC, and I loved this experience, right? And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I found something that I'm just as excited about. When the internship was over, I couldn't stay at CNBC. They didn't have a position for me.
Right.
But they outsourced a lot at the time, outsourced a lot of their marketing and promotions to a smaller company. And the woman that was the manager of my internship, she got me an interview with them, and I ended up joining that company. I loved this job. Marketing and promotion, I loved this job. It was a young, vibrant electric company. I had access to my managers. The learning curve was incredible, colorful. I would wake up, if I had to be in the office for 9, I would be there at 7, right? And I was thrilled at how much I was learning and the fact that, okay, maybe I can transfer that excitement from the stage to this job.
Right.
And then I thought, okay, maybe I could do both. But all auditions are during the week. Right? All for the professional gigs, all the auditions are during the week. So I was performing with smaller companies, which in themselves was it's like stoking the fire, just
Right.
to keep it, and
Yeah.
so that I didn't say, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Then the company got bought out, and it all changed. It became a stereotypical gray, difficult, like you get there in the morning and there's a sense of dread and weight and unhappiness. It just wasn't the same. And I thought to myself, I can't be 24, 25 years old feeling this way about work. I have the rest of my life ahead of me. And right then and there, a very wonderful friend of mine from St. Martin, she told me about a company that was auditioning for a national tour. And that company was Forces of Nature Dance Theatre.
Right.
Now, ignorance is bliss in terms of youth. I had luckily a good handle on money management, so the money that I'd made, I'd put some of it into a 401k, I had saved, and so I think that if I had to make that decision at the age now, I wouldn't do it, because now you're so deep into adulting, right? I think they would be more fair about it. But at that point, I just saw this opportunity to get back on stage and get back on stage professionally. And this had been the dream the whole time. And I auditioned for the company and I got the gig.